Here's a back, baby. What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Ray John coming at you with a recap video for the Raiders versus Cardinals preseason matchup. Raiders win this one 31-10, and it was a very interesting game, guys. Derek Carr finished his series with 3 of 7, only 41 yards, I believe. One solid pass to Amari Cooper, and two solid passes to Michael Crabtree. Michael Crabtree actually did really good in this game. Put on the vice grip on one of the catches and just wouldn't let it go. It was a beautiful effort on his part. Uh, Derek Carr seemed kind of frustrated for a second there because he wanted to actually, right after the catch was made, he wanted to go into the no huddle, and there was some miscommunication on the field with some of the rookies coming out to swap out, and you could see he was getting very aggravated, and he was, nah, get off the field, we're going to keep this rolling. And they ended up throwing a flag on it, so kind of messed up his groove for a second there, in my opinion. But overall, it was interesting. Latavius Murray had a few carries, but um, he had a couple, a couple good little runs here and there, but nothing too big. His I think the main thing with him was we actually threw it more than we ran it in this game, and Latavius Murray usually builds up to that one big run, and that's when he just rips it. This game just didn't get enough carries, I don't believe. We'll probably see more of him in game 2 against the Packers, but we'll see. Number one thing I want to emphasize on this game in particular that I have noticed: depth. We have a lot of depth. Like, a lot of depth. Like, ridiculously good depth. It's amazing to me on how much players, like, are playing their asses off right now, and they're doing really, really good. It showed a lot once the second stringers came in, and we matched up against their second stringers, and our Raiders just dominated in the end. First preseason game, you usually take away the same things out of every single game. Usually, it's you look at two aspects: that's depth and you know on special teams. Mostly, you take a look at both of them because they're usually the two most that are going to play. Game 1 of preseason and game 4 of preseason's usually really nitty gritty, looking at depth and special teams. First impression and then last impression. That's usually just how the way preseason goes. Game 2 and game 3 are usually when you got a little more of a dress rehearsal for the starters. So I'm not too worried about Derek Carr's performance in this. He actually had a couple of good throws, and one or two of them just got misread. Or Mari Cooper had a beautiful pass to him, and he just did not drag the foot. Something he had a little bit of trouble with in the last year too. He was working on it and looked like it went away, and maybe it's just having a little hiccup with it again. We don't know. We'll see what happens. Now back to our depth. Oh my God! Like, there was a few plays in there for our second string where they just were making plays. A lot of our second string and third string, fourth string are all going to show up on special teams big time. And I think this is going to be the year that our special teams actually makes that step into being very, very good and actually making plays. There was one play in particular that really stood out to me. Big play was a forced fumble by Corey Toomer. Just knocked the ball out, and then we recovered it. And then this man not only just settled for that, he didn't settle for that. No, the next chance he got, he made another play, hit the guy, or the moment he got the ball, just laid him out. And that's the type of players we need right there, is ones that don't settle for just one play. They want another one, and they want another one. They are hungry for plays. and I like that, especially on special teams. That's what we need. Someone that's gonna come in every single chance he gets and try and make a play for this team. So that was very, rewarding. Now, another thing I noticed was we were making a lot of headway on our kick returns. They a lot of headway, and not just from the not just from the first team, from the second team and third team. It was just all the way through the game. You just seen us, little by little, getting a little more yards here and there, and more than I'm used to and seeing. So right after the forced fumble, Matt McGloin takes the ball and launches it to Clive Walford. After his first, time in possession with the ball, he actually went 3 and out, and it was, just kind of one of those scratch your head moments for one of his throws, I think, but made up for it big time because the moment you give this man a turnover and it's preseason, he goes off. Matt McGloin is a very, very solid backup, guys. The one thing I noticed about him is he has the ability to step in any given time and just take control of the offense and march us down the field. He is very good at that, guys, and that's how come I believe he's one of the best backups we could have on this team. And very, very solid player. I really like his drive because the guy. Let's face it, guys. Every single preseason he does this shit. It's 2 touchdowns, and the second touchdown was even better than the first. I freaking love the place where he placed that ball. He put it perfectly right on freaking Andre Holmes, and Andre Holmes dragged his feet beautifully. Nice catch and nice hustle with it. That was off of another turnover. Our team today had a total of, I believe, 4 turnovers, if I'm not mistaken. 1 interception, no, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and a turnover on downs. Fourth down, made a sack, and got the turnover, so that counts too. Actually, should have been like 8. Our secondary is making a lot of plays, guys, and they dropped a lot of freaking interceptions, and it was kind of bugging me. So this game was like touch and go on some things. I think the worst thing that we did in this game, penalties. Biggest takeaways from bad news on this game was 1, injury. Mario Edwards left with a leg injury. Not sure if that was good or bad. Read in Twitter that it was actually not as bad as initially thought. Not too serious, probably day to day. But we'll see. I'll find out later today or later tonight. Another thing we kind of struggled in this game, mostly the first team, was tackling. We did not have really good tackling game in this game, and Jack Del Rio actually pointed that out, and I rewatched a couple of the plays on defense for our team, and he's right. Our tackling needs some work. A little rusty. Just gotta polish it up, shine it up, and we'll be fine, guys. I'm not too worried about that. Number one thing we gotta work on back at camp: penalties. Fucking penalties. Oh my god. I was undisciplined, straight up undisciplined, and Jack Del Rio ain't gonna put up with that shit. I could already see how pissed he was from all the penalties. Every time they threw the fucking flag, his face looked like he wanted to just crack the ref in the face, and it was like it was just the perfect description. Now, Latavius Murray ended the day with 4 carries for 20 yards. Got stuffed in the backfield a couple times, but he managed to gain yardage on almost all of his runs, guys. He was doing pretty decent, but didn't quite take it, to the house like we were hoping with this O-line. But it's a couple adjustments, guys. It's going to take some adjustments for these guys to gel together, and you could kind of already see where they're going with this, though. They want to, really manhandle the defensive linemen, but they need to do it more organized. And I believe that's where we're headed. Is we're gonna have more organized play from our offensive linemen and more of a push in that middle. with Osemele, and it's gonna look good, guys. I'm not too worried about it. The right side is now solid, I believe. Medley Watson, I didn't really hear any complaints from him. I didn't hear any, big time, yays from the announcement either. But it's very rare that they talk that much about offensive linemen. The reason they brought it up so much is because we're so hyped up about the offensive line. But if you don't hear anything from a certain side of the ball, that's a good thing, guys. It wasn't too many pressures on Derek Carr, so that was okay. But that once again, accuracy was a bit off. There was one time he ran out of the pocket and it looked like he was going to make a good play, but Marcel Reese was ran out of bounds and it just didn't go well. So yeah, it is what it is. Two players that actually stood out to me on the defensive side was Jahar Ward and Shalik Calhoun. They both actually were making pretty good plays and making pretty good pressures on the quarterback. They did have a couple, mishaps here and there. One, I think, Calhoun actually gave up a touchdown, I believe, on a run. He had the middle and he kind of gave way. It could be just a little, rusty on that. I believe it was him. To be honest with you, I'm not too sure. I got to double check on that. But there was another play. I know for a fact that Jahar Ward, he gave up a big play on a tackle, missed an arm tackle. But besides that, they were constantly adding good pressure. They were making good, decisions, and they looked pretty sharp for rookies, man. Again, depth. That's the one thing I took away from this game. Depth was because this game just showed how much we have it. Like, and the second teams just showed up big time, guys. And when it comes to running back, I am not worried anymore at all when it comes to running back, guys. I am tripping out on our running back by committee if we possibly go that route. That boy, oh my god. Okay, there's two players that I'm really eyeing right now at the running back position that just wowed the shit out of me. DeAndre Washington. This man had a juke move that made me freaking break my ankles just watching it. It was insane. Like, stopped the mid speed, cut it to the right, broke to the left, and just left this dude in the dust. I was like, wow, that was an amazing cut, guys. I thought, like, wow, that's crazy. And he did it so fast and fluid in motion. It was beautiful. And he actually had a nice catch from Connor Cook and took it like about like 31, 34 yards or something like that. And he caught it out of the backfield, cut inside, ran the right route. It was an option route, and he just made the perfect decision. And honestly, that's something I'm not personally used to, because usually I get frustrated as a fan. I think all of us as Raider fans get so frustrated when you see a route getting ran and you see that they're open if they run the other one, but they just happen to run right into the freaking defender, and you're like, why the fuck did you run that way? And this is just one of those times where you see it and they just take it, and you're like, wow, he listened to me. He could actually hear me through the TV. Like, shit. It was awesome. It was actually, he showed up big time in this game, had a big game. But my boy, George Agason the third. And honestly, man, I was tripping out. Let me tell you something, guys. I am so happy about this guy making plays like this. This is insane. How well he did. And yes, a lot of people are saying it's preseason, he was playing against thirds and fours, and how the fuck do you think players get their start in the NFL? Like, it cracks me up when people throw that out there. Well, they're playing against thirds. They're playing against fours. Well, you know what? They're not playing against good players. They're playing on live television, bro. You're playing against people that want it just as bad as you. And not only that, you're beating them at it. Whether or not this man was playing against top tier talent, he is dominating at the talent he's at right now, which means he has the ability to take that next step to that next level. So I don't want to fucking hear it, right? This man showed up and in a big way. Two touchdowns off of really long runs. One was a 54-yard run. The other was a 30-some yard run, and both of them look beautiful. First one, he made a cut off the right side, and just broke a dude's ankles. Then just sped the fuck up and killed the entire secondary with his speed. He just smoked everybody. The second one was just as good as the first. Broke a couple ankles. One especially, right when he was getting to the goal line, and usually we fuck up when that happens. This guy broke a dude's ankles at the 5 yard line and ran it in like, no, no, no. I'm going into the end zone. It was beautiful. George Axon III just shows how much depth we have on this team, because this man is a solid contributor at special teams. He could be a solid contributor at running back on the offense. Think about all the shit we could do with this speed. George Atkinson III ended the day with 5 carries for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also averaged 19.5 yards per carry. Guys, that's pretty damn good. Now, my hope is that this guy just carries on with it and keeps showing that he has really good talent, and we should keep him on this squad. He's just got to earn it more and more every single preseason game, every single preseason practice, all throughout whatever he can. And I hope the best for him. I really do. Keep doing this shit, man. Make your freaking old man proud. That's all I gotta say. I'm very happy for George Atkinson III. So that's gonna do it, guys. Raiders win this one. It was actually a pretty solid blowout, 31-10, and our depth just was very, very legit in this game, and it was very, very good. It just shows that it's gonna be very, very hard on our coaching staff to get this team cut down to the right amount of players on the roster. So not really looking forward to that. That's usually the worst part of this preseason, is the cuts, because you sometimes lose players that you are rooting for. So is what it is, though, guys. All right, man. You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. Go Raiders.